Warning, this video contains spoilers for Sonic Forces. If you do not want the story spoiled, do not watch this video. Don't say I didn't warn you. Hey guys, the Sparkle Dash here, and as you might know, Sonic Forces got leaked. And because I couldn't help myself, I watched all the cutscenes, and I have mixed feelings about it. Now keep in mind that this video is about the story, not the gameplay. I also know that the game will have DLC and that we're supposedly getting Infinite's backstory there, but even so, I still think that the story has some big problems. Now let's start with the positives. I really like the fact that there were a lot of characters that finally got some more screen time, especially Silver and Knuckles, though I don't really get why Silver is even there, but more development's always appreciated. Infinite was intimidating at times, I guess, but more on that later. Another thing that I liked was that the story was a lot darker than normal. I have absolutely no problem with lighthearted Sonic games, but it is nice to have something a bit more serious every now and then. But now for the bad things. After watching the cutscenes for the first time, I could only think of one thing. This story, in my opinion, was just a bunch of wasted potential, and I'm not just saying that because I'm salty that my favorite theories turned out to not be true. I think the biggest disappointment was how they handled Infinite and the Avatar character. Many people thought that they would be connected in some way, which would make sense. I mean, why would you introduce two new characters when they have nothing to do with each other? I personally really like the idea of Infinite being an old friend of Avatar before being captured and experimented on by Eggman, but what we actually got was an overly edgy villain without a real backstory and a make-your-own OC without an interesting story or personality. It feels like Avatar is in the game just because Sonic Team thought making your own character would be cool, instead of developing existing characters more. As for Infinite, you can't just give us a character with such interesting lyrics in his theme song and then not do anything with it. And Infinite just disappearing at the end of the game without explanation was such a letdown. There better be something in the Shadow DLC. Another thing that bothered me was that at the beginning of the game, Sonic was defeated by Infinite. He was captured, imprisoned, and presumably tortured for 6 months, and yet Sonic acts like everything is fine and it's no big deal. Same with Tails. Silver said, and I quote, "Sonic is gone, Amy," and Tails has just lost it, but classic Sonic just shows up and I guess everything is completely fine now. And this might just be nitpicking, but what was up with the Phantom Ruby prototypes? I thought the Phantom Ruby was more like a Chaos Emerald and could not be created artificially. I mean, we see it getting discovered in Sonic Mania. Are the ones in Forces just replicas, or are they different from the one in Mania? And what exactly happened to the Phantom Ruby from Mania? As for the whole Shadow joined the bad guys but turned out to be an illusion, I don't really have a problem with it. I've seen people with interesting scenarios where Infinite somehow manipulated Shadow into joining him, but that still wouldn't explain the others like Metal Sonic or Chaos, so I don't really mind. Now how would I make this story work? Please keep in mind that I am not a professional writer and I do not claim that my ideas are better. These are just some things that I think might be cool. First of all, I would have Infinite and Avatar know each other, like I said before. That would be the reason why Infinite let Avatar get away in the beginning of the game, because even though he's under the Phantom Ruby's control, he doesn't want to hurt his friend. That way both Infinite and Avatar would have a reason for being in the story. Another thing I would change is what happens when Sonic gets imprisoned. I thought about it for a while and I started to wonder, why would Eggman even keep Sonic alive? He had him locked up in space for 6 months and you're telling me he didn't kill him? Now, this might seem like something you'd find in a fanfiction rather than a Sonic game, but I thought it would be cool if Eggman actually experimented on Sonic with the Phantom Ruby, so he could use him as a backup plan should Infinite lose. That would give Eggman a reason to keep Sonic alive. And maybe Sonic should show some kind of reaction to being imprisoned and tortured for half a year. Now, I'm not saying you should make him a nervous wreck or anything, but you could have him be a bit more nervous and or irritable, but at the very least, he wouldn't be making jokes and one-liners. If you're gonna make a dark Sonic game, you might as well go all the way, right? Maybe have him trying to hide it from his friends because he doesn't want them to know that he's afraid. or because he knows his friends already have enough problems to deal with. That would actually give Sonic some interesting character development. While you're at it, maybe if Sonic came back, Tails could become a bit too protective of Sonic because he doesn't want to lose him again. As for the ending, at first it would be Infinite. After the fight, Avatar would help Infinite to break free from the Phantom Ruby's influence, but then, like I said before, Eggman kept Sonic alive as a backup plan, and you would have to end up fighting Sonic. Infinite would probably help since he has been under the Ruby's control himself, and he would eventually be the one who would break the Ruby's control. Then there's Classic Sonic. I don't know, I personally think he doesn't really need to be there, so if anyone has any better ideas, feel free to let me know. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think of Sonic Forces? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or did you think it could have been better? Let me know in the comments below.